to you today from in front of the Center Cinema. And that is the subject of our show. Find out what's new here at the Center Cinema from Tony Johnson.
We're up in the projection booth with Tony Johnson, the owner of Starlight 14 and the Downtown Center Cinema. We're up here talking about digital video at the moment. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having us.
So where's the big old film projectors?
They're gone.
Gone?
You can kind of see, the remnants of what it was, and that they had to have a, kind of an outtake of air and all that. But yeah, that was gone. Bill and Lisa Muth and Son Cole revamped it, and I know the community stepped up a long time ago. I think it was 2013, 14, and they were replaced with these two gems. So we got one. That's why we have two theaters. And actually, Bill's, was very wise. There was a fire a long time ago. He split the theaters. And actually, that really behooves this theater to have two cinemas.
Weren't you forced to go to digital cinema?
I think that they were forced to go to digital at that point in time. So yeah, that's interesting. We're kind of on a transition right now because currently the film companies send hard drives. So you get a big hard drive and you actually put it right into. Here.
So you were shipped like UPS, FedEx?
Yeah, UPS, FedEx, and it can be a headache, right? But but what we also have is this gem right here, and we now have it at the Starlight, and this is a satellite. So we have a satellite on the roof, and we have a satellite at the Starlight that basically beams in the content, and that is far and away operationally where you want to be, both efficiency and just economically. It's just a cleaner, faster way.
Right.
You just beam it right into your two servers, one at the Starlight, and we just felt like we needed to do that at Starlight, and we were able to do that.
I did some snooping on the internet about the history of what they call digital cinema, and I think originally they did want it to be just that you'd have the satellite in the roof, the movie was sent to you, and then it would download maybe 2 or 3 times to make sure that it stuck. Yep. And it was in the right order and all that stuff.
Sure.
Is it just still like that?
Yes, you download it and you get some instructions from the movie company on anything sound-wise, and you get digital keys to unlock it so you can't pirate it, and then they release those and you have to use a USB drive to unlock them. But yeah, it's a really gem of a setup, and one of the things that we and no, this is not fascinating, but these projectors kick out a lot of heat, and that's one of the obstacles that we had when we were here. And so the configuration of the HVAC here at Center Cinema, so we were able to, thanks to everybody that's sponsored us and does advertising for us, and that's one of our big revenue, we were able to put this in. Thank you, Ash Creek, for putting this in, and it actually is great to keep. Because they throw a lot of heat.
Right.
Even though they're digital, they throw a lot of heat. They have 2 bulbs in each of them, and they're very, very expensive bulbs.
Can we get a close-up of the projector?
Yeah, absolutely.
So these are, I think Bill told me a long time ago, they're 2K.
2K, yep.
Which is plenty.
Yep, 2K, yep. Some people don't realize this at the Starlight. We have one of the biggest, brightest bulb that you can get for those type of projectors. We have the max, so it really throws it.
What's the distance from the lens to the...
I don't know the exact distance, but it throws a lot. And I was just talking to the tech, because we're going to have a new bulb installed.
Okay.
For this year, and it'll last a long time. And so, and we always like to do maintenance, but we're going to get a new bulb starting in spring. And so that is and so I was talking to him about, hey, how big is this bulb? And they're like, wow, you have the most you can, you know, get. So
is that really like the lamp unit? that you
yeah,
have to
lamp,
put-
yeah, the wattage, yep.
Well, that's going to be hundreds, isn't it? For one bulb.
Yeah, it's about $1,000 a
Okay.
bulb. Yeah, or more. For these, it's ranges in the 400 to 700 range. There's 2 bulbs in each of these.
Okay.
And these are like, you know, if I compare things to like shoes, these are like Adidas. They're really nice.
Yeah.
This can take a lot of tread, a lot of wear and tear. They've taken a lot of wear and tear from us, and yeah, it's great. And you know, they've lasted a long time, and we certainly take care of them. We can also, this is one of the unique things, we, you know, sometimes we connect a USB drive, or excuse me, a HDMI cord,
Yeah.
and we have satellite. So sometimes, you know, we watch things on here, sometimes we hook up iPads for special showings of things. You know, if,
Oh, yeah,
if people wanted to watch something, you know, like that they've created, it's pretty interesting. But we're always open to, you know, different content and different, you know, people using this for event space.
Yeah, you can make a little 10-minute movie and show it to your
Yeah.
rent the space, show it to your friends.
Absolutely.
You could have a red carpet and pretend like
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we get a lot of, we actually have a request from a filmmaker in Madison right now, and he wants to use the space to show his, one of his movies, and he's going to show it at the outdoor, and, you know, and we've had independent filmmakers in the past interact with us, and we had an award, during COVID, we had like a independent movie awards. They wanted to have it at the outdoor, and so really, really interesting people you get to meet at theaters, and yeah, it's really cool.
Now, when these, this is getting kind of geeky, but let's say you got a movie that is considered flat, like
Yeah.
the exact ratio of your home flat screen.
Yep.
And then you get the next movie might be scope, which
Yeah.
is 2.35 to 1, which is like your cinema scope and all that stuff. Does this automatically just do it for everything? You don't have to change.
You know, you have scope templates, you have flat templates.
Okay.
And then we have to adjust the board. We have configuration on the screen. Bill and Cole put that in. And so basically with flat, it's a little bit wider. You gotta make the screen a little wider.
Okay.
With scope, you narrow it a little bit.
All right.
We like to leave everything in scope as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, messing around with the boards and, you know, everything like that, messing
Right.
around with our configuration is probably not where we want to be. And we feel scope looks the best on this.
Yeah. It seems like most movies, the minority of them are scope anyway. That's super wide.
Yeah. I think scope looks best on our screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What else is up here?
Yeah, that's we just yeah, that's what we have going on, and we have you know, satellite coming in, and that's what we got going on.
Let's go look at the new seats.
Yes, let's do it.
All right.
You know, one of the things that we're doing is we actually have Lucy downstairs, one of our employees, and she is categorizing all of our posters. So we have so many posters that we get, and so we're trying to do a little fundraiser for
People
you know,
go
the market.
crazy for.
Yeah, you know, we've had hit and miss. Some people really love them, but we're going to make them more available and start raising.
Do you have any that are like 5, 10 years old?
You know, we didn't we kept the ones that you know, we felt were unique, but you know, Bill, you know, at the time of transition, there really wasn't anything that was you know, that was really unique. We have some James Bond stuff that we kept. I will tell you this, we do have, this is one of my favorites, and you say, well, what's this movie? And it's freaky, and it's the first new movie that we showed here.
Vince Vaughn. Okay.
Yeah, during COVID.
Oh.
And I think 3 people showed up, but we loved it because we kept it.
Yeah.
And Catherine Newton's an amazing actress, and so yeah, so that's what we do.
Creepy step. You know when something's coming up, that's for sure.
Yes, absolutely. People are always fascinated by the old letters on the marquee,
Oh yeah.
and so we're gonna keep. You know, we've been trying to fundraise, and we're selling season passes for the Starlight and Center Cinema. And one of the things that we like to do is promote that, and some of those funds will go to this matching grant that we've worked with Jason Glassburn on from WeDub. But we're gonna reuse some of the unique things about the marquee, because this plexiglass and some of the rails we'll want to keep some of the letters, redo those letters, and then once we redo it, it'll look like the original.
So this will be just solid, but lights shining up at it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the old Art Deco or maybe.
Yeah, it's Art
This
Deco,
was built
yeah.
in 36, I think?
37.
37.
Yeah, probably 36, 37. But yeah, so we're just trying to touch it up. I think a lot of people, when they see that we purchased this, we took care of a lot of things kind of behind the scenes, and now we're starting to do brickwork. We're starting to do focus on this. We focused on the seats. So that's where we really want to focus our time.
Yeah. So people come in and get their popcorn and.
Yeah, absolutely. We left it as. Bill would say that this is one of the original pieces. This is the old ticket booth.
Yep.
So he left it, but then I think his father, which is pretty cool, built all this, and we kept it. So he wasn't an original owner, but he's certainly put his touch on it, and we're going to be going through and updating the carpet and giving it a paint job here in the next while. And one of the coolest things is, it's probably one of my favorite pieces of equipment here, is the popcorn machine, because I think it's the best. And I'm going to turn on the lights.
Okay.
So one of my favorite. I actually think this makes better popcorn than the one at Starlight. And this is, I believe it's called a Creator Diplomat
Yeah.
or Headliner model. It's from 1983, and we're gonna get it rebuilt. It needs a love. It needs love, and so I was doing some measurements here for the vendor to come, because we need to give it some love. And so we kind of searched a little bit far and wide to get a person that was able to fix it. And so we're super excited to get a new panel in and do some touches and get all the lights working. And it's from 93, which is a good year.
Can't focus on that. Well, these are expensive, new, these commercial grade.
Yes.
I mean, hundreds.
Yeah. So we called Valley Popcorn, and they're like, hey, listen, we deal with smaller popcorn machines. This is a little bit bigger. So we had to go to another vendor. But yeah, it's going to get all retrofitted, so new toggle switches, some improvements, and it's much needed.
Can somebody just come in and buy popcorn and
Absolutely.
leave? Okay.
Yep.
Because
And
you smell it when you walk by and say, I want popcorn.
Yeah, and people have reached out to buy popcorn, so bulk popcorn, and we're always happy to do that. And but we also have cotton candy machines.
I didn't know that.
Yep. So we make our own cotton candy here, and it's awesome.
You have the Mike and Ike. Everybody knows those. Milk Duds.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, of course, our best sellers are M&M's, Reese's Pieces, and so we always like to have a lot of options.
But now this is this going back to being called Eskin then?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that, but I saw the sign. I figured, well.
Yeah. So we would really like to.
Yeah, Sarah
And
Eskin.
one of the things about the Eskins that I read about, and actually I was at a theater convention, and this lady's family owned a theater, and the Eskins actually owned it. I think it was.
There was a Sarah.
Yeah,
from
Sarah. Yeah.
Milwaukee.
So, they were kind of moguls. They were kind of movie moguls. So, we're not going to be movie moguls, movie theater moguls, but we are.
You can be.
Yeah, you can be. But really, where our intent is to bring it back to, kind of its glory days. And I think it's unique architecture. I mean, it's kind of utilitarian.
Exactly. That's what Lon Arbogast called it. But he said it was full of bells and whistles when it was built.
Oh, I'm sure.
It had a gentleman's and ladies' lounge in.
It was down there.
Wherever the basement was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where everybody's down there smoking.
Yeah.
And beautiful leather chairs and.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
Speaking of seats and chairs.
Yes!
So
Come
Paw
on.
Patrol.
Yes. Paw Patrol. Let's go see. So we have a little bit more construction to do with some electric. I really wanted to keep the electric in the that we had. And this was after talking to, and I'll give you the history of the seats, but after talking to the seat installers, they install seats all over the United States, mainly in Midwest, and one of the things that came up was, hey, and everybody always asks this, boy, I'd really like recliners. And I was talking to them, and I was like, hey, do you think we could ever snag some rows of recliners? And they said yes.
Oh, boy.
So we'll work on that when funds available. But these are the seats, and they came from South Milwaukee. They're the first 2 rows out of every cinema. They have 12 cinemas in there. And they were Marcus Theater. And we've built quite a really great relationship with them. They're wonderful people that run that company. And they're really nice.
This has more seating than first class of a plane. Look at leg room, I mean.
Yes.
Look at that leg room.
Yeah, and that was one of the points that we wanted to make is make it really super comfy. Right now there's 63. We'll probably add another row. There's 56 on the other side, and we'll probably add another 2 rows. We like to accommodate for school showings. But, we painted the floor, and we feel like it's really put a nice panache on the cinema and kind of put it in a nice place.
Do you know the size of that screen?
I don't.
I'm asking all these awful questions.
Yeah, I don't know that. I know the Starlight's 40 by 60. And
Okay.
we just had that repainted.
Yep, you told me it was whatever. Well, everything's expensive. The paint was expensive, I bet.
The paint, just projector paint is really, really expensive. But we worked with Bailey's to say, okay, do we need to go to projector paint or do we need to go, and really we landed on the nicest paint without going to projector paint, just to save some money. But I've gotten a lot of compliments that people are driving on Pleasant Valley and they can see the movie just fine. So it hadn't been painted in a long time and it
Right.
needed it. And I look at the Starlight as just such a gem. So we've painted the screen over the last few years. We've improved the speakers. Of course, the inside was redone when we started. We've been picking off certain things as we go, and it just really is a gem.
What color is that? A projectionist once said it wasn't like stark white. There was a weird tint to it, like a bluish or a reddish, but you wouldn't even notice.
You're right. Yeah,
Something
I don't
like
know what Pantone that is, but certainly we
I'll have to ask
advise.
Steve.
Yeah, we asked Steve the best, and he really did some research for us, and we're very, very thankful to put us in that position because it really shows up nice on the Starlight. And thank you to B&L Signs for executing that in a very short time frame. And spring can be kind of touchy when you can paint and when you can't paint.
Right. Well, I'll have to cruise down Pleasant Valley, and you could charge for parking on that road.
Yes,
It's probably illegal to do that.
Yeah.
And you have an Ecobee.
Yes.
With the app. I have one of these at home, and they're great. It's this is a commercial for Ecobee.
Yeah, and one of the things that we struggled with, and I think people would, attended when we first opened this, is we struggled with the heat and the cooling. Mm-hmm. And in a big space to get it right, we had some failures. But now we're on both sides. We've replaced 2 of the furnaces, so the foyer is going to be always warm. Upstairs, you saw the projector is always going to be cool. These cinemas are going to be really, really regulated, and we're in a lot better position than we've ever been to control the temperature.
Oh, good. I suppose years ago when they had the film projectors, those got hot too up there. They probably just had a fan blowing.
Yeah.
Well, they had 2 projectors. They would switch one to the next.
Yeah.
And make it seamless, supposedly.
Yeah, and I'm sure it got, they had to light the arc, and I'm sure it was very, and make sure that it didn't break, and very time consuming. But yeah, so that's our kind of a refresh on our cinema. I think the things that we'll have going forward are, touch up the foyer here, and then at the outdoor, we're really just picking off kind of items in our project backlog of, just touch-ups here and there, and at some point in time we'll need a new server for the projector, but that's really it. We feel really, really positive where the Starlight is at, and there's only 9 outdoors in Wisconsin, and then 4 in Iowa and 5 in Minnesota, maybe vice versa. So we really do have gems, and I think when you live here, you say, "Oh, it's the drive-in movie.
Right.
It's not a big deal." But we have to be thankful for what we have. We have a lot of great things in Richland Center. We may not have some of the things that people would want in Madison, but we have a lot of great things, a lot of great stores, and a downtown that I think is on the come up. And then putting this marquee on, I think it will just be a nice little gem to kind of show off the old architecture that was in a really bustling town probably back then.
Right. Do you keep a log of where people are traveling from that go to the outdoor?
Yeah, so we don't necessarily keep a written log, but I can tell you that 60% of the people that come to the outdoor are from outside the county.
Mm-hmm.
45% of the people that come to the indoor are from outside the city.
Okay. Well, good. When do we get to go out to the outdoor?
I think we got to set up a time, and we'll go through that and maybe shoot off that projector and be able to see it. And it's like it's about the size. I always feel like it's about the size of a small Volkswagen, that projector, and it's a pretty big one. But we're so thankful for the community that put it in this position with the projectors, and it's just these properties are great assets to the community. If you're not a movie fan, that's okay. I always hear like, "Oh, I like streaming at home, and I like going to Madison," and that's okay. Mm-hmm. We just love the people that want to come and support us, come and support the theater, because the whole point of this is offering an option. I like to go to theaters in Madison. I like to go to Milwaukee. I like to check it out. I like to check my friends out at Marcus. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of nostalgia related to this theater. And we also, with these new seats, can make it nice.
Yeah. Can we look at the other theater? It's wider, I think.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
wider. Yep.
What year is this from?
I don't know, but I know that I don't know the exact nature. Probably the coolest thing that
35 millimeter.
we have a few artifacts. Probably the coolest thing that I found, and I believe this. I'm going to get history wrong, but the Eskins or Mrs. Eskin owned 2 theaters. One was the Richland Theater, and one was this one in town. And downstairs.
Is it over here?
I think so.
Yeah, it's across the street. Yeah.
Was the printing press plate for the Richland Theater. So I kept it, and I'm gonna once we're gonna readjust this. We're gonna have a shadow box of some of these artifacts, and one of them is that printing plate. I think it's great.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, and if anybody's interested, you can play trivia all day long of the businesses from 1937 that were advertising in the playbill of the first showing. And surprisingly, there's quite a few that are still around.
Do you know what the first movie was?
I think it was a Joan Crawford movie, maybe?
Yeah. I heard it once and I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Sarah lived upstairs. That was her apartment.
Catch the light. Got the wrong light. So this is not as pretty with this lighting, but we are going to move, or install some additional seating. We grab some additional ones from Marcus. These are all meant for a slanted floor, so we're very lucky. The first 2 rows of the seating was sloped at Marcus in these theaters, and so super awesome.
The screen looks wider than the other one. Maybe it's not.
Nah, I don't think it is. I don't think so. Maybe it's my eyes, but yeah.
The seats are in pretty good shape.
They are. Yeah, the first 2 rows, so no one ever probably sat on them.
No, ever, never.
Yeah.
I could just sit here all day, but that wouldn't be very productive.
Now there's church here on Sundays.
Yeah, the Mission.
The Mission,
Yep.
yeah. And one of the parishioners told my wife the other day that, I mean, their message is always good, but he likes the seats and he fell asleep a little bit. So
Okay.
we won't mention his name, but
Well, they're more comfortable than church pews.
yes,
But
yes.
I probably shouldn't.
Yeah, he goes. They lean back, and
Yeah.
you know.
Wait till you get the reclining one.
Yes, and at a certain age, all of a sudden you lean back, and then it hits a button that you just fall asleep. But yeah, so we're super excited. I couldn't ask of better two things: a better weekend for Paw Patrol. We sold out Friday, had really nice crowd Saturday and Sunday, and then just really couldn't ask any more about more from the Marcus partnering with us. They didn't have to do that. And using their seat installer, they didn't have to offer that up either. So we were very, very, very fortunate.
Yeah, this is definitely first class flight seating.
Yep.
Flight attendant will be by any second.
Yeah, you kind of feel that vibe, and yeah, just really, really great. So we always, our vision of this is to make it really, really nice for people to enjoy, and we want people to enjoy coming to the movies, and it's an event, and we look forward to a really productive October, November, December, January. There's some great movies. The SAG Actors Guild strike is going to wrap up hopefully soon, knock on wood, and we got a really nice slate. At the outdoor Easter weekend, I think we're going to be open tentatively. We're going to have the new Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay.
We want to slide in, some great films, not only kid movies, and Wonka is supposed to be great with Timothy Chalamet. I always get his name wrong. And like Aquaman. But we also want to slide in Napoleon is supposed to be awesome. It's 3.5 hours long with Joaquin Phoenix. Killers of the Flower Moon with Leonardo DiCaprio. About the Osage Native Americans.
I forgot who directed Napoleon. Big name. No, I don't remember.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I'll have to check that one.
But yeah, so really some great content coming. For people like Phil Nee, I reached out and said, hey, would you be interested in this biopic? And it's called Priscilla. And it's about Priscilla Presley when she was young.
Oh, right.
And her being young and meeting Elvis and her life and from her perspective, and she even blessed it. So I think there's just a lot of great stuff at the Starlight. We were able to get participate in with Hocus Pocus, October 21st, and then Nightmare Before Christmas on the 28th. At the indoor, we're really excited about participating with Pumpkin Fest, and we'll have some free showings, and then we will also have Taylor Swift's concert here.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So we're big Swiftie fans.
Yep.
I don't like her taste in boyfriends. He's a Kansas City Chief, but like...
Well, tell her that.
Yeah.
I'm sure just call her.
Yeah, call her since she's going to be on the screen here. And then we're going to go on a nice run of... there's a movie coming out called Journey to Bethlehem for, people that want to see that. There's Trolls, the new Trolls. I think it's Trolls 3. It's really kid-friendly. And then we go all the way up to Christmas with some real heavy hitters. So we're just very thankful and blessed to have some great content, and hopefully we'll see you at the movies.
I know that you had, it was in cooperation with Frank Lloyd Wright, A Summer Place. Mm-hmm. Now that's old, like the late 50s, early 60s. Now, I asked this to Bill years ago, can you get classic 30s, 40s, 50s? What's the licensing or legality of that? If you want to watch the Ten Commandments here, or Ben-Hur, I know it's pushing 4 hours, but...
Yeah, you can. Probably anything that is not Disney, you can.
Oh.
Disney, like Hocus Pocus, you just can't go out and get or request. Mm-hmm. They had a release set from their vault. But everybody else, anything that's Warner Brothers or Sony, usually, you can go out and get. There's some great... I mean, what my plans are, we don't like running in the summertime on Sundays necessarily, but what I was talking to Jane Kintz about, and her her table 12 group, and just in general, is I would like to have 4 Sundays that are dedicated to maybe one that's Frank Lloyd Wright, one that's Art Deco, one that's kind of a classic, you know, and another one. So 4 Sundays throughout the summer to kind of attract people. You know, we had 30 to 40 people there that night. That may not sound like a lot, but it was really, really cool, and the summer place looked really great on the screen.
Yeah.
It looked cool. It looked like you were in, you know, 1957, 1961, watching something at a drive-in.
Good old-fashioned soapy soap.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really great. And then I had Frank Lloyd Wright building in it.
Yeah.
So that was way cool to have. At first I was like, oh, you know, I would like to do something for the 80 German warehouse at the Starlight. And we started talking about it, made it happen, and I think if you do that more and more, I think the more and more traction you get.
Yeah. I mean, even North by Northwest has a supposedly Frank Lloyd Wright, but they just kind of faked it for the movie.
Yeah.
That was on Jane's list too of movies, but.
Big Lebowski, I think has a Frank Lloyd Wright.
Oh yeah. I forgot the scene, but anyway.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's you know, this is a passion project. We're year 4 and probably a 7-year project plan. We're looking forward to, you know, updating a few things. We really want to push our yearly passes. We think that's a big thing.
Yeah.
For people to jump on and get a little bang for their buck, and we really, really want to see people at the movies and support us. And it's a great building. It's a great piece of the downtown. And I would say this about 80 German Warehouse. I would say this about the auditorium. I would say this about BMO Harris Bank, and I would say this about this building. They're great pieces to the downtown. If you don't appreciate them, it's totally fine. If you do, come on board. And
Yeah.
let's get after it and support these things.
Right. Well, I'm going to keep bugging you about the outdoor until we can meet out there and see the concession stand and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the new paint screen and screen
Yeah.
paint. And
Absolutely.
all right.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you, Tony.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you've enjoyed this look at the Center Cinema, and we hope you'll enjoy all the Centerfest activities this weekend, the parade, other activities, and we hope you'll come back next week.